No, puppy, come back. We will find you.
Where should we go to find our puppy dog?
It's probably in the UAE, Israel, or Egypt.
Let's go.
The United Arab Emirates is situated in Middle East/Southwest Asia, bordering the Gulf of Oman and the Persian Gulf, between Oman and Saudi Arabia. It is on a strategic location along northern approaches to the Strait of Hormuz, a vital transit point for the world crude oil. It shares a 19-kilometer border with Qatar on the northwest, a 530-kilometer border with Saudi Arabia on the west, south, and southeast, and a 450-kilometer border with Oman on the southeast and northeast. The land border with Qatar and the Khwar al-Udad area is a source of ongoing dispute. First on our stop in UAE, we went to Dubai, where we visited the world's tallest building, the Burj Khalifa, which is a global icon that pushes the frontiers in design, architecture, and construction. Next, we visited the Wild Wadi Water Park. The Wild Wadi has the largest water slide outside of North America. The water park was also featured on The Amazing Race 5. Next, we visited Abu Dhabi, where we went to the Sheikh Zayed Mosque, which was initiated by the late president of the United Arab Emirates, Sheikh Zayed bin Sultan Al Nahyan, who wants to establish a structure which unites the cultural diversity of Islamic world. Next, we visited the Emirates Palace, which was built as a landmark showcasing Arabian culture. The Emirates Palace offers luxury hospitality. Next, we visited the Palm Jumeirah, which is an artificial island. The Palm Jumeirah increased Dubai's shoreline by a total of 320 miles.
On our next stop, we visit the country of Egypt. The culture of Egypt has thousands of years of recorded history. Ancient Egypt was among the earliest civilizations. For millennia, Egypt maintained a strikingly complex and stable culture that influenced later cultures of Europe, the Middle East, and Africa. After the Pharaonic era, Egypt itself came under the influence of Hellenism, for a time Christianity, and later Islamic culture. First, on our stop in Egypt, we went to the city of Cairo, where we saw the Mosque of Muhammad Ali. Situated on the summit of the citadel, this Ottoman mosque, the largest to be built in the first half of the 19th century, is, with its animated silhouette and twin minarets, the most visible mosque in Cairo. The mosque was built in memory of Suan Pasha, Masha Ali's oldest son, who died in 1816. On our next stop in Egypt, we visited the Great Pyramids of Giza. The Great Pyramid of Giza is the oldest and largest of the three pyramids in the Giza necropolis, bordering what is now El Giza, Egypt. It is the oldest of the seven wonders of the ancient world and the only one to remain largely intact. Next, we visited the Al-Azhar Park, which is a public park located in Cairo, Egypt. Among several honors, this park is listed as one of the world's 60 great public spaces by the Project for Public Spaces. The park was created by Historic Cities Support Program of the Aga Khan Trust for Culture, an entity of the Aga Khan Development Network. The park, developed at a cost excess of $30 million, was a gift to Cairo from Aga Khan IV, a descendant of the Fatimid Imam Caliphs who founded the city of Cairo in the year 969. Next, we visited the Grand Egyptian Museum, which is also known as the Giza Museum, and is a planned museum of artifacts of ancient Egypt. Described as the largest archaeological museum in the world, the museum is currently under construction and is scheduled to be partially open in 2018. The museum is sited on 50 hectares of land approximately 2 kilometers from the Giza pyramids and is part of a new master plan for the plateau. Next, we visited Hurghada. It is a main tourist center and third largest city in Egypt, located on the Red Sea. On our last stop in Egypt, we visited the Abu Simbel temples, which are two massive rock temples at Abu Simbel, a village in Nubia, southern Egypt, near the border with Sudan. They are situated on the western bank of Lake Nasser, about 230 kilometers southwest of Aswan.
The next country that we visited was Israel. Israel is a country in West Asia, located at the southeastern shore of the Mediterranean Sea and the northern shore of the Red Sea. It borders Lebanon to the north, Syria to the northeast, Jordan on the east, the Palestinian territories, which are claimed by the state of Palestine and are partially controlled by Israel, comprising of the West Bank and the Gaza Strip to both the east and the west, and Egypt to the southwest. Our first stop in Israel was Eilat, where we visited the Dolphin Reef. The Dolphin Reef Beach is a private beach, offering a diversity of services, such as restaurants, diving courses, swimming and diving with dolphins, and a lot more. King City is a biblical theme park in Eilat, Israel, which first opened in June 2005.
Next, we visited the city of Haifa.
The terraces of the Baha'i faith, also known as the Hanging Gardens of Haifa, are garden terraces around the Shrine of Bab on Mount Carmel in Haifa, Israel. They are one of the most visited tourist attractions in Israel. The Shrine of Bab is a structure in Haifa, Israel, where the remains of Bab, the founder of the Babi faith, was buried. Next in Israel, we visited the holy city of Jerusalem. In Jerusalem, we visited the Western Wall. The Western Wall is the holiest site in Judaism and is the place to which the Jews turn during prayer. After visiting the Western Wall, we decided to attend a Jewish wedding.
To our wedding. First, let me introduce the bride and groom. The groom, called Chitan, wears a suit with a white robe called a kittel, while the bride, called Kala, wears a white dress to symbolize purity and that she has visited the mikvah, which is a ritual bath. Lastly, we have our rabbi, who is the religious officiator of the wedding, wears an off-white robe. For the week preceding the wedding, it is tradition that the bride and groom must not see each other. Tan and Kala greet their guests separately, called the Kabbalat Panim. The Kala is seated on a throne as her guest greeter. And now, we will greet the Chitan.
Mazel tov. Mazel tov.
The mothers of the Chitan and Kala break a plate together. This is known as Ashkenkazi. This act shows the seriousness of the occasion, because just like a plate cannot be fully repaired, neither can a broken relationship.
Pretend you're angry at me. Drop it on the floor. It's on the floor. Lift it up. Wait. Drop.
The ceremony will take place under an open tent, a chupra, to represent unconditional hospitality. They both wear no jewelry to represent that their commitment is based on each other, not material possessions. The Kala follows the Chitan to the chupa, escorted by their respective parents. The Kala circles Chitan 7 times to build their marriage, as was the world in 7 days. The next section is called the Blessings of Betrothal. The Chitan and Kala are presented with a cup of wine and take a drink after the rabbi gives his blessings. Wine represents joy, and marriage represents the sanctification of man and woman. Marriage becomes official when the Chitan gives something of value to the Kala. A kosher Jewish wedding indicates this item be at least 10 cents of value. The ring that the Chitan presents is made up of only gold, to show marriage is one simple wedding.
Behold, you are betrothed unto me, according to the law of Moses and of Israel.
The ketubah, a formal Jewish wedding contract, outlines the Chitan's responsibilities, which include providing his wife with food, shelter, clothing, and be attentive to her needs. The Chitan smashes a glass with his foot to symbolize the destruction of the Temple of Jerusalem.
Mazel tov.
Heritage and culture are central to the UAE's national identity, and there is a deep awareness of the need to preserve the indigenous culture on which Emirati society is based. But there is also a renewed emphasis on the evolution of art and creativity in a region that has traditionally focused more on the spoken word than other forms of artistic expression. In particular, there are some exciting developments taking place in the arts at a government level. The private sector is also thriving, and young Emiratis are laying claim to the artistic future, expressing themselves in a way that reflects the enormous cultural diversity of the UAE and the region. Abu Dhabi's visionary urban development plan, Abu Dhabi 2030, includes the establishment of a series of world-class museums in the cultural district of Saadiyat Island, close to the center of Abu Dhabi. Under the guidance of the Tourism and Culture Authority Abu Dhabi and Tourism and Development Company, the Emirates' goal is not only to provide a repository of global art and culture for UAE citizens to appreciate and enjoy, but also to position the UAE capital as a world-class cultural destination, a gateway and beacon for cultural experience and exchange. To fulfill this aspiration, acclaimed architectural firms were engaged to design a series of spectacular museum buildings that are currently under construction on the Saadiyat Island. The Egyptians were one of the first major civilizations to codify design elements in art. The wall painting done in the service of the pharaohs follows a rigid code of visual rules and meanings. Early Egyptian art is characterized by absence of linear perspective, which results in a seemingly flat space. These artists tend to create images based on what they knew and not as much on what they saw. Objects in these artworks generally do not decrease in size as they increase in distance, and there's little shading to indicate depth. Sometimes distance is indicated through the use of tiered space, where most distance objects are drawn higher above nearby objects, but in the same scale and with no overlapping of forms. People and objects are almost always drawn in profile. Also, you may notice the people in Egyptian art are never facing forward. Archaeologists are not yet sure of why, but they are leaning towards the facts that artist status was low in the hierarchy, so that they could never be in front of a higher authority figure and never be faced towards them. Geography has a large influence on Israel cuisine and foods common in the Mediterranean region, such as olives, wheat, chickpeas, dairy products, fish, and vegetables such as tomatoes, eggplants, and zucchini, which are prominent in Israeli culture. Fresh fruits and vegetables are plentiful in Israel and are cooked and served in many ways. There are various climatic areas in Israel and areas it has settled that allow a variety of products to be grown. Citrus trees such as orange, lemon, and grapefruit thrive in the coastal plain. Figs, pomegranates, and olives also grow in the cooler hill areas. The subtropical climate near the Sea of Galilee and in Jordan River Valley is suitable for mangoes, kiwis, bananas, while the temperate climate of the mountains of the Galilee and the Golan is suitable for grapes, apples, and cherries. Israel does not have a universally recognized national dish. However, many consider the falafel, which is deep-fried balls of seasoned ground chickpeas. Street vendors throughout Israel sell falafel, and it is a favorite street food. One book called The Israel Breakfast, the Jewish State's Contribution to the World Cuisine.
It turns out Brandon was wrong, and my dog was in my house the whole time.